This week, I did something I never thought I would do again. Switch to clay courts. Now, over the last few months, you've seen me fly around the globe competing in ITF events chasing ATP points. But it's been hard, expensive, and I've realized that with my current training setup being limited, I have to make two changes. The number one is mix in more other tournaments. Still super competitive, but an environment to really work on my game, earn prize money, and most importantly, play lots of matches and lots more tennis. The second thing was play more events on clay. Now, because the courts are slower, it focuses me to actually play longer points and work on point construction a little bit more. So with literally 2 days of practice under my belt, I decided to play a clay court pro tour $25,000 event here in Germany, which consists of 5 guaranteed matches made up of a group of 5 players, and depending on where you finish, some knockout rounds. And of course, I went into this week with pretty low expectations, but lots of motivation and excitement for what was to come. So let's see how I got on.
Today's breakfast, cooking some eggs. Gotta make sure you stay hydrated. Drink your water.
What an amazing view. Beautiful sunny day, but it's been really cold.
In the warm-up, I was feeling pretty good today. Strokes felt pretty loose. Was excited to kind of get on court. They had quite a few courts here at the venue, so it was really good, get a full court for warm-up, which was nice. And really just trying to feel my strokes before, going into the match, which I was very excited about. My first opponent on Monday morning was none other than the number 1 seed of the tournament, Sviatoslav Gulin, sitting above a 14 UTR and ranked inside the world's top 400 players in the world. And did I forget to mention, he's just 22 years old. So clearly this guy can play. And 2 emotions came through my head, both at the same time. Number 1, sake. But number 2, this is going to be a perfect opportunity to see where my level's at on the clay and really push myself against someone of such a high level. I also looked through my opponent's results over the last couple of months. He's won multiple ITF clay court titles. So he's obviously used to playing on clay, and that's clay court tennis is really what I want to try and work on in my game. So it's going to be a perfect opportunity if I can use it in the right way, go in with a positive mindset to try and get a big win. So I didn't actually film this before my match, but I was actually very excited going on to the first day. I had absolutely no expectations. Obviously, it's easy to look at someone's ranking and rating and really make them bigger than they are in your head. So I just went in with the mindset that he's the same age as me. I'm going to go out there and play my game, and I know that if I can just hit big balls, I have a chance. And I definitely took that positive mindset into the match. And let's just say, I think I surprised myself. Hope you enjoy. So let's start off the match here. First game goes straight to juice. It's definitely competitive, and I wanted to get a break pretty early on. And what you can see a lot of here is kind of a lot of loose flying balls, good depth, good bounces, crazy bounces, bad bounces, a lot of everything. And, that's definitely more clay court than hard. So I knew that that was going to be an adaptation which I had to make. And, straight off at the beginning of this match, I knew that kind of what his game plan was. He was just trying to mix up the tempo, mix in the drop shot, get it to my backhand as much as possible. And my game was going to be trying to predict his unpredictability, get on my forehand as much as possible. Really be aggressive and come forward, because that's where I'm going to win most of my points. As you can see here, getting that first service game under my belt was definitely a confidence booster. But I did feel that anything I was kind of dropping short, he was really taking advantage of. Get a little break point here pretty early on in this first set, and I wanted to try and make the most of it. And I managed to get the break early on, great for confidence. And now I really needed to test, what my actual ability of holding under pressure was. As you can see, definitely going with as much of that forehand as possible. You're going to see me hitting a lot here, but I'm getting a lot of points, off that forehand side. So I'm going to keep looking for it. I'm going to try and keep dominating off that side. One thing I did find here is that really when I was letting my forehand go a bit more than I wanted to, I was really getting a lot of purchase on it, like that crazy return. I think on the clay, obviously, with the slightly further back court position, the way that you're sliding, it's just a slightly different kind of mechanism, and almost playing a bit harder, with my body than I was used to was definitely working really well. And but I get a set point here at 5-2, and I'm actually kind of positively surprised. I think I was playing some really good tennis, hitting my spots, and I managed to take the first set 6-2. Now, what did I think at this point? I mean, I was definitely confident now. I had the first set under my belt. I played some really good points, and I wanted to kind of keep that momentum into the second set. But I was also aware that, obviously my opponent can raise his level, and I've got to make sure that I'm staying focused on the task at hand, and not getting too carried away.
Out. Speed.
Just missing that forehand there. He put some great depth in that forehand line, and again getting a lovely bounce and getting broken. So I think that game I think it was new balls actually. That game I was just a little bit passive. I think I was kind of waiting for him to maybe make a mistake, and so that's why you can see me in this game just trying to really up the aggression again. I think sometimes it's easy to, like I said, get maybe a little bit too relaxed and on the clay try and grind a bit too much. And I think that doesn't necessarily suit my game style. I think I've still got to, be aggressive, and there's a fine line between grinding and like building the point. And I think that's sometimes where, it's really tough to actually manage like your shot quality, how hard you're hitting it, how much you're ripping it. I definitely think that, I had to make sure that I was trying to get as much depth as possible. And from here, obviously with the break, my opponent begins to come into his element a little bit more, finding, a couple of ways to kind of hurt me. And I kind of, remember thinking to myself here, look, I've really got to try and, get back to kind of how I was dictating in the first set as much as possible, make my game a bit more unpredictable, and try and find a way back into the set. And here, 5-2, 30-15, really want to make sure that I'm asking the question of my opponent to make him serve out for the set. I think that was kind of what I was trying to do. But, some really good quality ball striking. I'm aware that that's going to happen. It's a fine balance between trying to go for too much and making errors like that, but also putting, my opponent under pressure. And that's kind of a fine line I was trying to kind of navigate a little bit. Obviously, if the quality isn't good enough, he's going to take advantage. And I was kind of quite aware of that, because every time I dropped it short, he was being aggressive. So that's naturally going to put quite a lot of pressure to hit maybe a better shot than I maybe needed to. In hindsight, potentially could have played a bit more height shape into the crosses, but he definitely knew what he was doing. And in this third set, I knew it was going to be a tough battle to try and stay with him in this set and take the win. But I was definitely willing to give it my best shot. I knew that my service games were going to be crucial in my kind of attempt to make that happen as well. I think that point there was pretty huge, but my opponent does end up getting another break point chance, pull him off with the great angle there, set up the backhand cross, and I break my string, and it just sends the ball flying. I think I set up that point really well, and sometimes things are just out of your control, and of course it's unfortunate that it happens on a break point, but now it's just about how you adapt. 3-love down here. I can kind of throw in the towel, or obviously if I actually want to try and win this match, gotta find a way to start winning some more points on his service games and obviously hold mine. And I actually kind of came up with a little bit of a different strategy, so drop a comment if you can tell what it is. But fundamentally, I really tried to just enforce that into the end of this third set.
Oh. Nope.
This game here at 4-2 was absolutely crucial. I really wanted to try and get the break. I said to myself, this is the game. Really just trying to do everything possible to hustle, make balls, play balls. Opponent comes out with some really quality points like this one here, really making it difficult for me. And I know that that's what the top players are going to do in the crunch moments. They're definitely going to make me play. And that net cord, literally, that annoyed me so much. Then I ended up losing this game, but I've got a chance to make him serve it out here in my service game, and that's something I did feel is like when the pressure was on, my opponent was really able to turn up the level. Down match point here, stick to what I know, managed to kind of save it and say to myself, let's make him serve it out. Let's see what he's got in his service game. I'm going to give it everything. I'm going to be consistent, solid, look for my chances, and at least force him to try and win that game. And ridiculous volley from him there, but I get another chance here to take this game here at 5-2. And here we are, him serving for the match. This was the one where I knew I'm going to give it everything. Solid angle there at 15 love. Here at 30 love, put that ball on the line, and he smacks one down the line, and kind of at this point I was like, damn, too good, solid game. And I do end up losing the match, but I definitely think a very positive start to the week. Right guys, so post-match Felix here. I actually started cramping after the match, which is why I'm recording this slightly later on. I overall think I played a really good match. There wasn't really much in it, especially in the first set, managed to take it. And the second and third set, he definitely raised his level. But overall, I was actually really impressed with my ability to kind of take advantage of the opportunities that he gave me. In the second set, okay, 1 or 2 games didn't go my way on my serve. And that's something I think I could have maybe been a little bit more clinical. But I think what he did really well, which a lot of other players didn't do, is just navigate the points really well. You could tell there was a tactical game of chess going on, which maybe doesn't go on so much, at the lower levels or on hardcourt as much. Even, let's say on the kick ad side return, he'd go heavy kick into my backhand. And I've got 3 options. I can either kind of go line, which is a very risky shot, which I didn't want to do. I can loop the ball and try and get it deep, but he was taking it super early. Or I can just absolutely drive it cross, which is the best choice. But if I miss a little bit, he's got the perfect ball down the line. So there was a lot of strategy going on like that, and the movement was definitely getting to me. I think physically I kind of fatigued on and on as the match was going, which is completely natural, completely normal. That's why we're on clay. But I definitely noticed it, so that's something I'm definitely going to be working on. But overall, I was very happy with that first match. And with that being said, I'm going to show you how the rest of the box matches went in next week's video. So make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you turn the bell notifications on, and let me know what you thought of my first performance on clay, my 3rd of this year. And it couldn't have been worse than last time where I lost 6-0, 6-0, which I wasn't very happy with. So I think I redeemed myself slightly, but thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. It'll be a fun one.